Welcome back to the Butter Boys podcast. Information smoothened for your ears.
Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. We're back.
Yes, we are. And I'm sick, but I'm recovering, so it's not too bad. But more importantly, we've got ourselves some guests.
Guests?
Guests?
Yes.
Guests?
Yes. and not like just one person. I'm talking.
You're talking Trace?
More like Quattro.
Quattro.
What?
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah.
There's 3 people here.
Why did I think Ian was a guest?
Because I'm wearing a different shirt.
Yeah, Ian's a butter boy.
We not only have an extra butter boy here, but butter female.
Ooh, we got girls
X chromosomes.
in the studio.
Yeah.
Would the ladies like to introduce themselves?
I'm Gabby.
Okay.
Hi,
Who are
I'm
you?
Liz.
Okay. Tell us a little about yourselves. Gabby.
My name's Gabby. My real name is Malia, but I go by Gabby because
That's stupid.
that's not stupid. How is that stupid? I
Her
gab
name
a
is
lot.
Gabby. Her name is Gabby.
My name is Malia. Y'all
It's
could all refer
Gabby.
to me as Malia.
Gabby.
Yes, thanks.
Gabby.
And our second female.
Well, my real name's Elizabeth, but I
Oh,
go by Liz.
It's Liz.
What's wrong with Elizabeth?
It's too long.
That's true. That is a little.
Not as lazy. He doesn't like to read. And tell us a little about yourself.
Wow.
Oh.
I'm
Corey?
19.
Moving on.
Next.
Riveting. We also have yet another female.
Are you in here or are you just...
Are you joining like officially?
She's in her robe.
So, what's wrong with the robe? Are you offended?
She's going to sleep.
She's going to sleep.
She's going to sleep.
She's going to.
Oh, you're planning on going to sleep? Well,
No, I'm
before
not going to sleep.
Oh, you're not going to sleep.
I was
You're
just
sleeping
playing
in the
along.
studio.
Introduce yourself.
What does it come to, huh?
Introduce yourself.
I'm Jean.
Okay.
That's French.
That's
Jean.
That's just
Don't
a
call
lie.
me Jean. That's that.
Okay.
All right, see you.
Now I can
That was
Okay, bye.
John.
Okay, and we have one more person, Corey. He's here.
Corey, introduce yourself.
I am Corey.
That is Corey.
That's all he's gonna say. All right, so what are we talking about, boys and gals?
We are discussing, for a few reasons, what makes a movie good. Movies make up a large portion of our entertainment. Movies,
Yes.
particularly for myself.
Yes. I am a cinephile as too.
Yes, as well. Grammar.
I'm not a grammar. I'm not a grammar.
You're
Oh,
not
you
a
were
grammar.
not.
I'm not a
Grammar?
grammar.
No,
No.
he's
All
not.
right.
not a
Obviously
grammar.
not.
Sucks at it.
I'm not a grammar.
Yeah, so, yeah, movies are important to us, and it's important that we discuss why we like them and why they don't work.
I actually prefer movies over video games. What?
Me too.
I do too.
Wow,
I like, yes.
that's
Well,
weird because you've never played any.
Yeah, because I didn't grow up playing video games. I grew up watching movies.
That's probably why.
He's
Yeah.
cool. That's
So
also why.
I
I'm
prefer
just kidding.
movies.
So, yeah, La Cinemique, or whatever. I don't speak French all that fluent.
The cinema.
Yeah.
Why are movies getting bad? Why
Not
are
just
more and
yet.
more movies getting bad? If you think about it, things have gotten worse and worse over time. If you look back, 1973, think about how great movies were back then. How, the price of popcorn was what, 11 cents? Now it's what, $11
Yeah.
for a large and a drink?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't know if that makes the movie bad.
Yeah.
That makes it bad. Subconsciously, they're making it worse because you think about the emptiness in your wallet and
While you're watching the movie.
while you're watching the movie, and you're just like, this popcorn is trash.
Yeah.
Why'd I pay $11 for it?
So what do you guys think about movies? What do you think? What are the 3 things that make a movie good to you?
This goes without saying that the most important thing about a movie is the story. But not only the story, the pacing. I do not enjoy
Yes.
when movies are paced like a broken record player. I don't know, where they're just like, okay, slow start, slow start, and then quick action, done. It's like you learn this, that a story is supposed to be like a hill, you know. You got your beginning, your rising action, your climax, your falling action, and then it ends. Nice little curve. Movies nowadays, they're like flatline, bump, done.
Yeah.
A perfect example of a movie that failed was Batman versus Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the whole movie is based on what? Batman versus and or Superman.
Yeah.
The whole movie, you just get, Superman has to pay for his actions. I'm Lex Luthor. I'm crazy. Batman is there too, and he wants to do something about this menace. And the whole time, it's just, you know, sending harsh emails to each other until the very end, and then it's just like 2 seconds of fighting. Is this spoilers? I don't know. I don't care.
It's been out for a minute.
Who
If you haven't seen
cares?
Yeah, it's
it,
been out for
you're
a while.
dumb.
If
Or
you haven't seen it, you're smart.
You're smart because you didn't waste
I
your money on
haven't
a
seen
trash
it
movie.
because it's trash.
But no, it's like 5 minutes of the actual verses, and it
Dude,
ends
yes.
with
Oh my
the
God.
stupidest reason for it to end. Why did you say that name? His mother's
What was
name
it?
is Martha.
Martha.
Martha. Yeah, that was,
Martha,
that was
why did you say that name?
Yeah, that was. I didn't like
Story goes without saying. Pacing is the big thing. A movie that is well paced, that is simple to follow, does better than a big elaborate story. Because with Batman versus Superman and a lot of movies, what they're trying to do is cram so much info at you at like different angles that you don't know how to take it. A good movie takes the info, you know, you don't need that much, and you spread it like butter. Like butter.
Boys.
What's your
Like
third
boys.
one? Your third one is.
My third one, character development, like that works.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be character development like, oh, this person's a scumbag, they end up being a good person at the end. It's got to be character development that would be realistic. Like, this person's a scumbag, in the end they're still kind of a scumbag, but they've learned to moderate it, to keep it in moderation. That would make more sense.
Yeah.
Instead of like, bad guy comes good,
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
guy becomes crazy,
Yeah.
good guy does what he has to do
Especially after
to save
one
the
moment.
world.
Like, you can't just change. Well, I mean, some people do, but one moment and then you're completely changed as an individual.
Also,
That's not
acting
realistic.
has paramount
Oh, absolutely.
that number 4?
place. I don't know.
That was definitely gonna be
Alright,
mine.
last
Here's
one.
the
Number
thing I
1.
hate in movies.
Hold on.
Here's the thing I hate though.
Ian hate.
Force.
Ian hate.
What is this? 5, 6?
Forced romance in a movie.
True.
It's like every summer blockbuster or something has to just shoehorn it in, like romance. And it's just, you know,
No, I agree.
not everybody finds it. So
And we could elaborate on that a little later. But since Ian is a mic hog,
yeah.
apparently, yeah. Let's move on.
Yeah, let me just
Let's move on to Gabby. What are your top 3 criteria that a movie needs to have?
Well, before someone spoke, my number 1 was gonna be acting, definitely, whether that's animated or real life acting.
That's a good point.
Because someone could have a great voice, but if you're a great actor as well, that makes the story even better.
But what aspects of acting?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like what kind of what quality of acting do you expect from people, or what links do you expect people to go to do acting? Because you can be someone like Jared Leto and act crazy. God, I hate DC movies.
Okay.
You can act crazy and say it's like, this is method acting, so it must be good, or you can just bring realism to it that doesn't require.
You know how like
that.
you watch TV shows and someone's acting like on Victorious or something, they're like, cry. You have to cry on site. Me and Liz could cry on site.
Right.
Like
We can.
right now, I could cry.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you're a good actor. Good acting helps the story. And say there's a scene, a really, really sad scene or something. Like, I don't know if you guys ever saw My Sister's Keeper.
Oh yeah,
I've heard of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really sad movie about cancer and the girl's sister having cancer. And both of the actors are phenomenal because they go with the story. And every scene, they're displaying the right emotion. So good acting is my number one. Number two is a good problem. Every movie, every TV show has a problem. There's a conflict. That's what makes the movie interesting. That's why you're watching it, because you want to see the end. Some conflicts are so dumb. Like, some conflicts are so... I forgot. There's a movie that me and Ian saw recently.
Batman vs. Superman.
No.
You really hate that movie, man.
I forgot what the movie was. But if a bad conflict can ruin the entire movie. And then my third is not every actor or actress has to be like beautiful in order for a movie to be good too, because I've seen really beautiful women and men and they're horrible actors or actresses that just because they're thinner or just because they're big, whatever, just because they're most of the time, just because you're thinner doesn't mean you're a better actress. Just because you're prettier, there's a lot of different sizes of people that are good actors and actresses.
Yes.
So that's not the
you like diversity in terms of
looks,
genders,
looks, and also one thing I hate, Ian hates. One thing I hate is there's so many.
Gabby hates?
Yes.
Gabby hates.
A lot of female-led roles in movies are horrible. Like there's where the female is the lead and it's just horrible. I'm not a director or something. Hush, I'm not a director or anything. Yeah. But if I could make a movie, I try to make it good. Cause what's that other one that I like but all you guys hate?
Wonder Woman?
Yeah. She's beautiful, right? But in certain parts they make her look really dumb. And that just adds to the whole. So that's my three. I'm gonna stop talking. Corey.
Corey? What? Your top 3 criteria for a movie.
I have one.
You need 3.
I have one.
All right, go ahead.
Let's let him that
This is the experience.
Okay.
Good.
So if I go, my friends, we all have fun.
Get closer to the.
Don't matter if the movie was trash. My body doesn't work like this.
Okay. He's a bean.
Okay.
So if I go and we have fun, I'm like, oh well. I didn't think Batman vs Superman was trash.
You didn't?
You're a minority.
I'm not picky. I'm like, okay.
That's actually true.
I saw Batman. Batman's dope. I saw Superman. He's trash. Batman obviously won, so I was happy.
That's the thing, is like, even if you see a bad movie, it can be pretty fun to watch. There is a certain precipice that you get to where it's either a movie so bad that it's good, like something like The Room. Everybody knows that. But then there's movies that are just bad, and they're just lifeless. Like there's no even ironic comedy to watching them. It's just like, this is so unbearable to watch, and so much of my time is being taken watching this movie. Like, I don't know, Star Wars prequels, you could tell there was just no soul there. It was all just like, ooh, check it out, we're in the 21st century now, we got CGI, check out this CGI monster, throw it in there, look at all these CGI clones doing the same animation, walking. Transformers was just like a cash grab, each one of the movies. Yeah. Although I hear Bumblebee is supposed to be pretty good, so yeah, maybe it's redeemable.
Perhaps.
I'll probably check it out.
Lisbeth, your top 3 criteria.
Well, I think that
Ian and Gabby took all of mine, so I'll just reiterate them. I think one thing is definitely the acting. I think if acting is just so bad, it takes the experience away from the movie in general. Like, it could be a good movie, and then you have one person who's like terrible at acting, and it's just it's kind of laughable, but it's still like, okay, this movie is like really bad and cringy. And another thing that I agree with Ian on is how in movies there can't be a guy and a girl without it having to be something romantic. I think that's annoying. I feel like if it's a guy and a girl in a movie and they're like the stars of the movie, it has to be some type of romance in there instead of them just being cool or being homies or whatever. I think that's very forced, like Ian was saying. And the other thing about what Gabby was saying about the women in movies, how they all tend to look a certain way. They tend to have certain actors for certain parts.
Male director.
And I think that isn't fair because women in this world, everyone looks so different. And I feel like in movies, when they only put women that look a certain way, it's not fair to other women who could have had the part, you know?
Discouraging.
Yeah, it is discouraging.
Oh, it's angering.
Yeah, well, when you look on movies, or these kids are growing up looking at movies, and they don't have someone that looks like them. Oh, there's no superhero that looks like me. There's no great actor that looks like me. Because they only choose women that look a certain way and have a certain, you know, like Ian is doing right now with his hands, a certain umph to them.
Yeah. And they also use, I think people overuse actors too. Like,
That's true.
it's all, ugh. It's always the same people doing the same stuff. That's what
The Rock.
That's what I say. Yeah, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is in every B
Meathead movie.
well, yeah, B movie. Yeah, because he wasn't physically in it. He's there because he looks like a rugged, bald adventure guy.
He is a rugged, bald adventure.
Okay. Anyway,
He was great in Moana.
yeah, but that was his voice. He was in Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Oh,
They made that. They made the first one.
I remember that.
They made the first one where the
one
kid
was
has
good.
a dad, and then in the second movie they were just like, okay, let's get rid of Brendan Fraser, replace him with The Rock, and they made him his dad or something. I forget, but he's just like, okay, generic guy. Then what's that movie that came out? Jumanji. He was in that as the same character, but like more kind of a joke. So I don't know. Jumanji was, it was still pretty weird in places. Then there's all the movies he was in, like all these action movies like that didn't need to be made. The one about what was it? California, just doing its California thing. The hurricanes and earthquakes and tornadoes going on at the same time and whatnot.
Oh, San Diego
Yeah, something like that.
with the Rock.
Terrible.
Yeah. And then Rampage.
Yeah.
I don't know. They just use the same actors way too much. But that's how acting works.
And we're back away
You get
from...
celebrities that do things.
Was that all of yours?
Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Aiden! John!
What?
Are you participating?
Okay. I introduced myself as Jean. You can't just call me Aiden.
Aiden's...
But
Aiden doesn't exist. We're speaking with John. Hello, John.
I think a big thing for me is definitely casting. Like, and that includes like diverse casting, especially, and not necessarily like in the way of, oh, the entire cast has to be people of color or something like that, which would be honestly realistic. 'Cause like when in movies they'll be like, oh, it's a cast of 7 white people and then 1 like Asian girl, and it's like that's just not how the world is.
Or looks.
Like, the world isn't 90% white people. So it just doesn't make sense. And, like, I don't think they congregate like that. Yeah. Like, and what Asian girl would choose to... But also, like, if they are going to choose, like, to have the generic white guy with, like, 5 o'clock shadow, who looks like exactly like Jake Gyllenhaal. Probably is Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, they have to at least have, like, a different actor. Like, all the movies have the exact same actors, and, like, also in the range of diversity, I mean, like, if the person who's acting, if their entire, like, career is based around being themselves, then, like, you have to at least cast them for a character that, like, makes sense. But even then, it's like, this is kind of more like actors than movies, but you know how Jesse Eisenberg is literally just Jesse Eisenberg in every movie?
Yeah.
That's just who he acts as. Like, Jennifer Lawrence, she's just Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, or like Will Smith or something, yeah.
Will Smith is a god.
That's hot. Oh, that's hot.
All right. So it was casting. What was your second one?
I don't have any more.
Okay. Micah.
Oh, it's my turn. I have to talk?
Yes.
Oh, no. Well, I was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th person to go. So, everything's been taken. So shut up. I'm sick of you talking.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna I'm gonna reach for some things that no one's mentioned, like directing is very important. You can have competent writers and actors and all the other things that go into a film, but if you have a director who's got corn husks corn husks for brains, then it would all be for naught, Kofi.
Yes.
I'm talking to you.
Me specifically?
Yes.
I feel special.
You should, because you are.
Thank you.
Also, the music, the soundtrack, is what oftentimes can sell a film, such as Guardians of the Galaxy is obviously a popular... What?
Oh my god.
Black Panther, everyone was like super hyped for the Black Panther soundtrack, like before the movie even came out. Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse. Lion King is a less recent one. How about that new one coming out? What are your thoughts on that, Kofi?
We'll save my opinion for that at another time, but...
Okay, bye.
What? You're done with your criteria?
Yeah, I only got 2.
All right.
I've got
more, Kofi, if you need more.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
All right. We're going to let Aiden say... Wait. We're going to let Aiden say one that she just came up with.
Okay.
It has to have Will Smith in it.
No.
Doesn't count.
So for me, I actually wrote mine down. So my number 1 is conviction in the characters. I need my characters to convince me that they feel the way they feel, because that was one of my issues with the recent movie that we saw. The characters.
Wet Thor?
Yeah, Wet Thor. We'll say that. So Wet Thor, I feel like he could have been a good Aquaman, but I don't feel that he executed his character to the best of his ability. I don't know. It's obviously a directing issue, but I think that's one of my main things is conviction in the characters. Let's see what my other one is real quick. My other one is story must be well thought out and needs to progress at a decent pace. That's kind of what Ian was saying.
Yes.
You need that.
Someone say my name?
You need that hump. You need the exposition. You need the rising climax, falling action, and then the end. And it needs to flow decently. I've seen a lot of movies that when they're progressing, it seems as though they've missed some parts that needed to be explained, and I'm kind of like going through my wait. That doesn't make sense. I was watching this show the other day, and they kind of switched scenes to a point where I was like, wait, don't they need to explain why they're going to that certain area? But they didn't explain it, and that's just one of my issues with like storytelling. The stories need to be, it needs to be a coherent story. So that's my other issue. And then acting obviously needs to have some form of professionalism. You guys are professionals. You guys are actors. Do your job.
You get paid.
Millions of money. Millions.
Do better.
Do better, please.
Just do better, Kobe.
And Mike has said it, directors, that's the biggest thing. Because, okay, now I believe that, directors and writers are that's basically the meat of the movie. Because the writers write the script, but the directors are supposed to direct the script in the proper way. In a way that, is visually appealing, and also the story is also understood well. So those two need to work together in order for the movie to, progress at a decent pace, for the conviction to be there. So that's basically how I feel about movies.
No, this was my favorite.
Because
have
I make short films. They don't have
Any story.
they don't have a deep story, but there's a story in it. And
Is that it?
yeah.
You don't have anything else written down on your iPhone 10R that you recently got?
Jeez.
Y'all just calling this boy out.
Why are you? There's a phone.
All right.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, those are all good points. For me personally, my criteria for a good movie, geez, I need characters that have coherent motivations. This can mean a lot of things. So let's say you have a scenario where you have a character that wants to accomplish a goal, but nothing about that person's character has been revealed to the audience to let them know that this would be an important thing for them. Case in point, Aquaman or Wet Thor. I didn't find any aspect of that movie appealing. I felt that Aquaman as a character, why is he the one true king? Like, it's like the whole thing with like the prophecy thing, or like the one to rule them all, basically, that they literally use in the movie. So basically you have a predetermined prophecy that says that this character is going to do something. And, you do get the classic hero's journey, the call to action, the refusal of the journey, but then they get swept up in it anyway. They go through all the acts, yada, yada, yada. They get the girl, boom, the story's over. But there's still an aspect of that person's character that feeds into them achieving that goal. So you have an underdog, like, let's say King Arthur, classic story. So you have a little kid, making my way through the world. And then he finds, Excalibur, whatever the story, pulls it out of the stone, becomes king. It works because, he's starting from the bottom, he's going to the top. Another example, Star Wars. Luke is a lost kid. He doesn't really know what his purpose is yet. But then he gets swept up into this entire epic and about his father and all this crazy stuff. And he becomes something greater than himself.
Did you know Darth Vader's his father?
What?
Dude!
Spoiler.
Oh my God.
Spoiler alert.
Gonna go see
Spoiler
that
alert.
tomorrow.
I'm sorry.
Jesus.
Spoiled it for you.
Just like Nana.
You're
Why is
the
your hand
worst.
wet?
Just like
Oh my God, you're so moist.
Mike is a moist boy.
Boy.
Yeah, so yeah, with Aquaman, I didn't feel that he was suited for that kind of story. He didn't seem all that interested in himself. I'm not convinced that he was motivated to do any of it. So, coherent character motivation. Second is a more technical aspect. It is perhaps cinematography.
I knew it. I was gonna say it.
Cinematography. Roger Deakins. Oh my goodness, Roger Deakins.
For those that don't know, explain.
He is one of the best cinematographers. Now, what films did he do? I think he did films, movies like Sicario, where you just have like these wide angle shots that just look gorgeous, and like the people are just blocked in there, and it just creates this sort of like, it's almost like a painting. I know that's a really cliche thing to say, but it is accurate. And just like the colors that he's using are just like they just pop, and it makes you, when you're watching the film, you're in awe, and it even feeds into the experience, like Corey was saying, that when you're watching it, like you actually feel something viscerally, and you want to ask a question.
No, I didn't have a question. I just want to say thing. All movies should be shot on 35 millimeter. That is a fact that needs to happen. 35 millimeter. Yeah, it's kind of obvious. 35 millimeter film. 35 millimeter.
Dream, Nana.
No.
Your little dream.
Movies look better. Oh, okay.
Have you guys seen anything by Shane Carruth, like directed by him?
No.
Ooh,
Shane Carruth.
Shane Carruth. No.
He was like, I don't know what time this was because I don't remember, but he was like really popular and famous for like like some film he did, but it was on a really low budget, and he like would disappear for a while and then come back with a new movie, and then he'd disappear again. I think he's still like in the process of being like gone currently, and he's been like, people have been thinking there was gonna be a new movie for years now, but it was just a question, I guess. He's apparently a really good director, so.
Yeah, and so cinematography, that's my second one. And then the third, I would have to say an interesting premise. This is the most basic one. And so I'm a sci-fi fan, so the premise needs to be compelling. It needs to, especially for sci-fi, it needs to express some aspect of how technology is affecting human lives. Now, you can do this in a number of ways. You can have an action adventure thriller. You can have a contemplative drama. You can have a stupid schlock film, and this is the one that I hate the worst. Schlock. It's the worst. Schlock. And it's just a waste of like the premise, because if you have interesting character motivations, great technical cinematography, and an interesting premise, I mean, that's the trifecta for me. Like, you accomplish all that, and we're pretty much good. But unfortunately, not a lot of movies, especially for my tastes, tend to fall into that category. So those are my three criteria. So, sort of, what are some of our favorite movies? See that again?
Great cinematography. I don't know if that's the word.
Oh, yeah.
Like the animation of it and stuff. Yeah. It follows the book, but not quite. But it's still really, really good. One of those movies that are close to the book. It has a good actor. It's an Indian actor. It's placed in India. We have a lead Indian male actor, which is good because it's in India.
Yeah. There you go.
Which is great.
You guys see 47 Ronin? Led by Keanu Reeves. Playing a Japanese man.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
me neither. Anyway, Gabby.
As you were saying, Gabby. You forgot. You were talking about
Life of Pi.
Life of Pi won an Oscar, didn't it?
It has won like one or two things, but I love that movie, and it goes with the book, and they make the book come alive. When you read the book, everything you picture is in that movie. It's amazing. Life of Pi is really good, and there's all great actors, and I love it. It's a good movie.
Is that the one with the
wholesome?
Remember the end?
Yeah,
where, like,
the boat.
remember
I was going to say the tiger
He's like
thingy.
talking about how the boat, him being on the boat was like an allegory for like what was it?
I
Oh, it was all a metaphor.
Yeah, it was just one big metaphor. I was like, oh, that was perfect. I love that.
Wasn't it like a metaphor for? Oh my goodness!
It was my weekly Bible reading.
Okay.
Oh, geez.
Anyway, wasn't it like a metaphor for like the animals weren't actually animals; they were just humans?
Yeah.
And then like, didn't it?
I forgot.
There's some spoilers, but like,
If you haven't
you know,
seen the movie,
If you haven't seen Life of Pi, like,
honestly,
go get life.
we're not announcing new movies. by
skip
the way.
ahead.
So, if you haven't seen these movies,
5 seconds or 10 seconds or so, but didn't like the tiger have to eat like the other animals
Yeah.
to live?
Yeah.
And so that's a metaphor that someone literally had to like eat people.
And that's what the book was talking about.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Or was it more so like you have to kill people with special food?
No, yeah, the
It's
tiger
like,
was the strongest man. They were basically men, and the tiger had to eat the other men in order to survive, and that's what mankind. I don't know if he was paralleling to mankind, but mankind is survival of the fittest, so say some per se, and that's what was part of what the metaphor was about.
And it's kind of like what's it called?
Not that you should fall to cannibalism, but whatever.
Well, if you need to.
Cannibalism's not okay.
And it's kind of like what's the movie with
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yes.
Wilson. Wilson. You know, Castaway.
Oh yeah,
love
that's a
that
good
movie.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Dude, Tom Hanks, Forrest Gump.
Forrest
Forrest
Gump.
Gump.
Yep.
Of all time.
Forrest.
Forrest Gump
What
is
makes
the
you-
best
why do
movie.
you like it?
Dude, okay,
I need
Not a loves.
There's so much. Okay, so for one,
biggest reason, Tom
Well-
Hanks. Biggest reason why you love it.
well, yeah, Tom Hanks is probably he's not the main reason. Just like I like the fact that his story is just so simple. Like he's a kid that was put in situations that he didn't even he was just living his life, and then things just happened to him that were phenomenal. Like I like that idea of the fact that he was in monumental he was in historical events, even though like it's not a true story. I just like that aspect of it. Also too, shot on film. Another thing I like about it is the fact that he couldn't walk, right? So he's a kid, he can't walk, and he doesn't care that he can't walk. I mean, he obviously would like to, but he's not sorrowing over his misfortune. He's just, okay, this is the life I'm living. I'm just gonna live it. But like he overcomes the fact that he can't walk, and he runs, and he's the fastest runner of all time. He ran
Around
the country, dude. I mean, I know this isn't true, but it's just like this. I just like the adventure that he went on, and the fact that he was in Vietnam, and he survived that. And I like the scene where there's a guy that loses his legs, and he's like he pulls Forrest down. He's like, do you know what it's like not to have legs? And Forrest is like, yeah, because I couldn't walk for like the first 10 years or like however old he was till he got his legs back or he could walk. I just like his story. It's just like a simple kid involved in like monumental events. Like it just, and the romance that oh my gosh, he should have dropped Jenny. Jenny was not good for him.
So what
Jenny,
do you think about the relationship between Forrest and Jenny?
okay, so I did not like that relationship, but I like that. Obviously, I like the fact that they got back together, but they only got married for a year, and then she died. She died. Like that's the one girl he ever wanted. He finally got her, and she dies. Like that's crazy. I mean that sucks. But it's life. But he has a child. And now
he has a piece of her.
Oh, dude, like it's just a great movie. If you haven't seen Forrest Gump, man, like my gosh, man, that movie's great. That's my favorite movie of all. I've seen that movie at least 50 times. I know like all the words to that movie.
I'd like to quiz you on that, Micah.
I was planning on watching that movie sometime soon because I haven't seen it. So thank you, thank you for thank you for all of those spoilers.
Oh man!
Oh, have you not seen Forrest Gump? That movie's made 1994, dude.
The age of the film does not equate to me
It's been around
definitely
for
having
years.
seen
I've
it.
seen it.
It's been around for years.
I have a comment on
Your
that.
parents
So,
are-
little side note on Lost spoilers. If you haven't seen a movie that's decades, I give a movie 10 years. If you haven't seen a movie in 10 years, it's all fair game. I'm getting in there. I'm spoiling it. What
But
decade is it now, Mika?
You'll still enjoy it though.
It's
because
almost 2020. The movie came out in 1994.
it came out the year I was born.
Kofi.
That's also why I like it.
Bubba Gump.
Bubba Gump Shrimp Factory.
I like you, Kofi. I like having you around. And I would really not want something to happen to you because of your
But there's subtle nuances.
your attitude.
You're forgetting the subtle nuances that you're missing.
I really appreciate your subtle nuances, Kofi. I do, but sometimes I just want to throw you
Like a lance.
like a lance.
Plug.
But yeah, so like there's parts of the movie that, I mean, yeah, I gave you a synopsis, but that's not all. There's more to the movie than just.
Yeah, you kind of spoiled
See,
it.
that's-
But no, but there's more. There's still more. That's how great the movie is. You can still you can still watch the movie with the spoilers that I gave you, and you can still enjoy it. No, I think I'm not gonna say a statistic because I'm not 100% sure on it, but
Make it
I did hear that people that heard the end of a movie before watching it and watched it liked it more than the people that didn't see the movie and saw the end.
Because you know why? I'll say it. Most people are
Anticipation?
stupid.
Anticipation.
Most people in this world are stupid.
Now, Kobe, fact check that, so
cannot-
you know. Fact check that, please.
People are stupid.
No, it's true. Check my statistic.
People.
Literally
people,
statistic, but-
people want
Where did you get that
convenience.
statistic from?
Brightside on
BuzzFeed?
YouTube. Brightside. Brightside. It's a YouTube channel.
Sounds pretty great.
Like the film starring
has-
Will Smith.
It has 1 million subscribers. It's gotta be real. It's got. If you have more than 1 million subscribers, your content is accurate.
No. No.
That's a lie. I don't believe that.
That's true. I give in.
I don't believe that. That was a lie.
Any other thoughts on your favorite movies? Liz, Corey?
I think one of my favorite movies is when to get closer is Les Miserables. When it's talking about like the French Revolution.
Okay, can we talk about
wait,
good acting?
Whoa, how do I pronounce it?
Les Miserables.
Anyways, it was that's such a good movie. Like the acting, how they were the first movie to have like a live
I don't think it was the
singing.
first,
What was
but
it?
It was
What do you call it in the movie?
Live
Musical?
performance.
Live performances. Like there's like no audio. There's no. It's just like
Yeah, it was-
just
it was.
live
Yeah,
performances.
it's not one of the. Yeah,
It was just such a good raw movie. Like
It was
that.
sad.
Oh,
I couldn't
that's
watch it
a.
again because it was so good. It was just so raw. I was like,
Yeah, it's
Oh,
it gives you chills.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
such a good movie.
It's
Anne
really
Hathaway, like she
she's
just.
all of them were great.
What'd you say?
What's wrong with having no hair?
Well, I think she just looked nicer with longer. I mean,
It was part of the movie, though.
You know, I know.
Oh, you're
I'm just
saying-
I'm thinking
oh.
in general. Like,
Oh,
Anne,
I thought
Anne
you was-
Hathaway with hair looks a lot better than Anne Hathaway with a pixie cut.
I think she's beautiful either way, whether her hair is long. Or
Yeah, no.
This is why Kofi and Micah are my favorite.
This
Exactly.
This is
You're
better.
still living in your parents' basement.
That is a choice. I am choosing to stay home.
Levels.
I'm choosing
The audio
to stay
levels.
home. I can leave.
I got it.
I can. No, I'll leave you. How about that? I'll leave you, Micah.
Where are you gonna go?
Away forever. I'm gonna run away.
But the point of her cutting her hair, I do get what you're saying though.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's your own personal opinion.
Yeah.
But the point of her cutting her hair in the movie, like that scene was just
It was
like,
so significant.
so significant. Like her
because it was her
role-
real hair.
Yeah, it
So
was
it's just.
It was really great. That was a good movie. Good job, Liz. Good job.
I
No, let him speak.
I never really did get to see that movie, but like sing-song movies.
Musicals?
People thought what's it called that one that came out with
High School Musical.
what's the one that just came out?
Oh,
La La Land.
Yes.
That shot on 35
Yeah.
millimeter.
Oh well.
My boy Ryan Gosling's in it. Love you, Ryan.
Shot on 35 millimeter.
Yeah, but
I know a lot of movies that shot.
I heard that was pretty good. I liked
didn't like
Phantom
it.
of the Opera.
I haven't seen that.
Phantom of the Opera. Oh, that's another one.
That
That
one.
was pretty good.
Why is this the only movie I've seen out of everybody's like picks?
Phantom of the
That's
Opera.
the only
seen
one.
Forrest Gump?
No, I've never seen whatever that
Oh
was.
my goodness.
Let us zoom in on
Kofi, please edit out those spoilers. Or give a
keep it in
five
there.
here, cut
You're
this
making him
in,
edit out more by
cut this into 5 seconds before the spoiler. Spoiler alert. This is now a spoiler alert for Forrest Gump.
I'm not doing that.
Edit that in.
I mean, we already heard it, so it's
Corey.
like
Okay.
Corey, tell us about your favorite movie.
Inception.
Oh,
I
yes.
have not seen that.
What?
And you haven't seen Inception about.
Come again?
We need to make a list of all these movies that you
We need to
guys
watch
have
Inception.
not seen.
Huh?
What is it about? I may have seen it.
Oh.
But you
Allow me to explain.
Forrest Gump is the movie that everyone should.
Inception is one of the greatest films Christopher Nolan has made. It is a sci-fi film about dreams, and it's basically an espionage movie about dreams. So you have this crew of people that go into other people's dreams and they steal their ideas and sell them to other people, and like they get rich off of it. So say like if you were to go into somebody's dream, into Steve Jobs' dream, while he was developing the iPhone, yeah, and then you take that idea, you transplant it, you give it to somebody else. So he no longer has that, or he has that idea, but now somebody else has it, but they get to it first, and so he loses all the opportunities that he would have gotten. That movie is amazing. And
Steve Jobs probably already did that himself to all of you. How do you think the iPhone knows your face?
Technology.
I mean, you kind of did.
yeah, that movie is it's a great film. If you haven't seen it, Gabby, if you haven't seen it, you got to see it.
DiCaprio.
Leonardo.
John,
He was in A Dead Horse.
what is your
For
favorite
real.
movie?
The Theory of Everything.
Oh, that's a good one.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
that, dude.
It was really
It
good.
was really good. It's really good. It's really good.
I don't remember much about it at all, so I can't really say exactly why it's my favorite movie, but it was just so good. Eddie Redmayne was really good in it.
Steve Hawkins.
Steve Hawking.
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawkins. Sorry.
Stephen Hawking.
Yes, the dude that develops
What about Stevie Wonder?
really cool ideas.
Not relevant. Next.
Yeah, is that it?
That's it.
Yeah, one of my favorite. I have a list, but I don't want to be an Ian and hog the mic, boy.
Butter.
Yeah,
Butter.
boy butter, made from the boy. Yeah. So one of my favorite movies would have to be. Oh my goodness. Oh jeez, there's so many.
Aquaman.
Yes. No. Okay. Interstellar.
Ooh, yeah.
Just Pizza Chef. Yes, that movie is amazing. It is like the most. It is everything that I want. It is everything that I want a sci-fi movie to be. You have the space aspect, but it's done in a non-cheesy way. It's grounded in like in an apocalyptic future, but it's not like hitting you over the head with it. It's like based off of like legitimate like projections of like where the environment is going. You have a Dust Bowl issue and it's intensified. You have human beings trying to come together and they're trying to find a place to continue the human race. And you have this personal story at the core about Matthew McConaughey just like sort of dealing with fatherhood and trying to like
Murph.
yeah
Murph.
he's trying to make a better world for Mirth. It's like
Murph.
just like the just like the concept of it just like really spoke to me. And I'll excuse the bit of hokiness that they got into towards the end where like the fourth dimension was like love or something.
Yeah.
And he was flying through it. A lot of people get on that movie's case for that. And also for Anne Hathaway, which by the way, we're going to touch on this a little later probably, but Anne Hathaway, perfectly rated, perfectly fine actress, don't hate on her. But yeah, that aspect of the film, it confused me at first, but I mean, you know, why not, right? I mean, you're doing a sci-fi film, you might as well just have like a weird moment where he's flying through the dimension of love. I don't know. Ian?
I like the part in the movie where they're on a different planet and time is different there. So like every hour they're there, it's like 10 years or something.
Yeah.
So they're there for like 30 minutes or something, and it's like 5 years. I forget. But when they come out, Matthew McConaughey's daughter's like already grown up, and he's like, Murph. And then he cries really, really gruesome crying.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
Let me tell you about my favorite movies. Not a lot. There's not a lot that I like. You know what, Nana? You can be on my unfavorite movies list because you're a little stinky right now. Anyway, I like a lot of old campy 80s movies like The Goonies.
Oh, that's a great movie.
And like E.T. and stuff like that.
I still haven't seen E.T.
What's the name of the guy from the Goonies that's like...
Sloth.
Yeah, I always related to him a lot when I was younger.
He was also in
Rocky Road. He's very... Goonies is really good. And that's why I watched Stranger Things, and it just felt so... to me. I wasn't born in the 80s, but growing up, my parents pumped a lot of 80s stuff into my brain where I felt like I was there vicariously through them. So, I kind of related there. But Goonies is really good. I like wholesome movies like that. You know what? I like...
The Prodigal Son.
I like Studio Ghibli movies a whole ton. A whole ton. I don't really know which one specifically, but they're all pretty good in their own ways. And I wish Hayao Miyazaki was still doing stuff, but that boy's hands gotta have carpal tunnel syndrome through the max, because he took so much painstaking animation through every one of those movies. Oh no, I liked Princess Mononoke is probably my favorite one out of his. That movie is so beautiful and like so not realistic, but just like showing the power of nature, and mankind is trying to corrupt it, but nature's fighting back. When animals were huge and could talk. And there's...
I remember that.
And there's a wolf girl that, Yeah. Princess Mononoke. But who was talking about soundtrack? Micah?
Hello?
The soundtrack in the Studio Ghibli movies are absolutely beautiful. Kofi, you like to play Breath of the Wild, right? Mm-hmm. And that... Breath of the Wild has beautiful music in it that was inspired from the Studio Ghibli movies because they are so wonderfully powerful, and the melodies get you right in your feelings. And who's the guy that makes them?
I forgot his name.
I know his name.
If you were to listen to the music on... Oh, go ahead. Oh, no, you go. Go.
Have you guys seen When Marnie Was There?
Joe Hisaishi.
Marnie.
Hisaishi?
When Marnie Was There.
When Marnie was there. No, I don't think
It's a Ghibli movie.
Okay.
I think I have.
It's
Watch
hard to
Ocean
explain
Waves.
it. It's hard to explain the plot without spoiling everything.
The premise.
Yeah. There's no way to explain it without spoiling everything. This girl is
geez.
depressed and really antisocial or asocial. And she goes off to be with her aunt, I think. And she meets this girl named Marnie and blah, blah, blah. Anyway.
And it goes on and on and on.
You're not talking about Marley and Me, are you?
What's it called?
No, When Marnie Was There.
Overrated.
Watch Ocean Waves.
I have
It's a
seen
Studio
that.
Ghibli film.
I
It's great.
loved it. I loved it.
What
It's not
movie?
directed by Hayao Miyazaki
When Marnie
though.
Was There.
Still great.
Studio Ghibli movies. Studio Ghibli movies are great AMV fuel.
Yeah, that's true.
Just take any one looping second and just put some put some like lo-fi music over it.
That's copywritten.
Okay.
Righted.
Well, we're not gonna do that ASMR, but Micah, have you talked about any of your favorite films? I don't think you have. I thought you were going to, but then you just scolded me.
That's true, I did.
Tell us. Tell the world.
Why so awkward?
Well,
Oh, we
Kofi.
don't need to hear about it.
All right, bye. See you guys next week.
Nah. No, look, tell us about your favorite movie.
I don't really.
Or,
I don't really have.
Or not like a favorite one, but like something that
Has touched you.
has touched you deeply. Like really just gotten in there, just like just
Just like
just like reached right down in there.
and just grabbed your heart, and just tugged at it. You got to get someone else to tell you your favorite movie. Beta.
You freaking beta.
You're the one that's. I didn't mean that, Micah. It's all
Beta
good.
Feels
Mean
real.
Tamika.
There's gonna be 2 less Styles' next episode.
Ooh.
Two.
The butter duo.
There's only two.
Hey.
Two.
Well,
I really don't. I don't think about that my favorite movies that often. Actually, I just kind of have movies that I like or don't like. Movies are fun, such as The Santa Claus. No. You can just edit out my long silence,
yeah,
so it's
I
fine.
always do.
You always do.
But
Tur.
Boys.
Oh, that's good.
Spider-Man: Homecoming
Oh, yes.
was a
it
very fun movie
yes.
that I enjoyed, and it is one of the first ones that comes to mind because it's so recent.
Yeah.
What about Into the Spider-Verse?
What about Into the Spider-Verse?
You better say it now, because I'm gonna say something.
Okay. Well then, what were you gonna say?
No, say it, man. Say yours.
Say your thing.
I don't have
You don't have much to say about that?
no.
Well, what about Homecoming?
I liked it. I enjoyed
What
it.
about Homecoming?
I just thought it was a very fun it felt like it didn't feel like one of the common things I hear about Spider-Man: Homecoming is it didn't feel like a superhero movie per se. It felt more like I'm like quoting someone somewhere completely, but it felt like a teen
Teen comedy.
it was like a teen comedy featuring Spider-Man. So there's that, and that also had fun music, which is something that Sunflower. That's a different Spider-Man, but nice try. Nana, what do you think about?
I like Spider-Verse. My issue with Spider-Verse, and you guys have already heard me complain about this, so bear with me. But I didn't like certain parts of the movie due to the progression. I feel as though some parts were rushed. I felt they needed to elaborate more on certain scenes, like especially the scene where Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, meets Miles Morales, and he sees that Miles Morales has the same ability as him, and he's like, "Hey, you got the same ability as me. I should train you." You don't know if he's a villain or not, but I'm gonna train you anyway.
It was too fast. That's what you
I didn't. I
like the plot.
Yeah,
story,
yeah.
It was like like
yeah. So that was my main issue with it. The animation for the movie, phenomenal. Because if you remember, Disney started that with Paperboy.
So shady.
Yeah, so yeah,
They're
they're talking about the animation technique, cell shading. It was used first by Disney in the short film Paper. Now correct me on this if it's Paperboy or Paperman. Paperman, yeah. So they started with that. It was a test. Then they did Feast. I don't know if they did other short films before Feast, but I know that Paperman started with it. And if that's not correct, Kobe will correct me. But that cell shading, that type of animation was done to the highest degree. The best, I think, in that I've seen yet so far was in Spider-Verse. That was one thing I did like about it. But yeah, I mean, Spider-Verse was a fun film. I think if it just progressed a little bit better, I think I would have enjoyed it more. I haven't seen it a second time, so I haven't seen other flaws. So maybe if I see it again, I'll see some more flaws. But yeah, Spider-Verse, good film. Watch it.
I saw it twice. It gets a lot more cheesy when you watch it the second time. Probably when you watch it the seventh
Because
time.
of all the villains that come out. Sorry, spoiler.
Whoa!
All of the villains that come out. That was the pig. That's when I stopped liking the movie.
That's
that
not a
was
villain.
so
That's another Spider-Man.
You talking
sorry.
about other Spider-Man?
Yeah.
They could have chose better spider people to
No,
have.
that was just I think that was so unnecessary.
There's better universes for them to use, or they could have just limited it to like 3.
I will disagree on that. I think that they did choose the good, a nice varied crop of Spider-Man and Woman. But I think the biggest issue that I had with their choices is that they didn't use them in a way that I thought was very interesting.
Yeah.
The main 2 culprits being Spider-Pig, which honestly, he should have been a silent character.
Oh yeah.
That would have been really cool because it would have been like touching on.
There.
Yeah, he would have just been there, like doing wacky, like cartoony, like Looney Tune stuff.
But he was annoying. to
Yeah,
me.
his voice, like
I would have ate him. He
yeah,
was annoying.
yeah, like baking him up, like get him out of here. And like Penny Parker, if they were going to do an anime style, they should have like just really leaned into it. But it's felt kind of like half-hearted, like they didn't, not necessarily forced. But I would say just like they didn't like try hard enough. Like the expressiveness, like, and as a fan of anime, like I see like what they can do with it, and like the way that they design like the faces and all that just didn't really like feel authentically anime. But I don't know. That's the main issue I had with it.
Too Americanized anime. Sort
Yeah.
of stuff. Did you ever watch the show Kappa Mikey?
Oh, that sounds familiar.
It's like it was on Nicktoons, but it was like an American dude trapped in Japan. He's the only one that looks like American animation, and everybody else around him is super expressive in anime.
Yeah,
sort of stuff. But it's like American people writing it, and they make it super trying to be. I don't know. It's like they're playing on a trope, so it's not, like real anime, but it's like, I don't know, it was still a funny show to me. But I feel like they kind of did that too, where it's just like, oh, this is Americans' take on anime, which is ever good.
Yeah.
Except a few short. Yeah, Last Airbender.
That wasn't bad.
That
was not
Whoa,
bad.
whoa.
You saying it was good?
Really good.
What?
It was
You saying it was good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I was
I was okay. No,
no.
that was really
That was an
good.
important show to me.
That was really good.
That was very
Especially the
important.
last season where he grew his hair out. That was phenomenal.
I'm gonna.
Tar
Okay.
him last episode.
Okay, I'm gonna rant about
That's why I thought
about Last Airbender. Just the best.
Yeah,
I
it
wanted to
was.
be Katara.
The best. I don't care about the time. I don't care about nothing.
You
That
go.
show freaking changed the way I see storytelling, man.
It was good, man.
It was beautiful.
Like,
Great.
dude, the moment where like he had to let go of all of his like his dead family members, and he just does it, and he has to deal with that. And I was like, dude, like that's the one thing I like about like shows that like deal with like mortality and stuff. We're not afraid to kill people. As sad as it can be. It wasn't much of a rant, but I don't know. I just really love that. And please don't put the live action version of it on Netflix.
Leave the
We're at
rants
an
to
hour.
the
Did you see
ranters,
the movie,
huh?
the live action movie?
We don't speak of that.
Okay, cool.
Garbage.
God.
Basura.
That
remember,
was
that
worse
was-
than garbage.
I remember that was the
Aquaman.
worst movie for
Yes.
a long time.
Yes, it was
That was
worse.
probably like the worst movie ever. I was so like they took the best thing that's ever happened to me and just.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It's pretty
very
funny
good.
how bad it is. Same
Right
thing
now.
with the Dragon Ball movie they made, the live action one.
That's
Did you
yeah.
see the Twitch? Did you see the
Yeah.
eye twitch? I've had an eye twitch for like a month now, and it comes back every 3 minutes. Just a side note. Boy, oh boy, what a great episode, guys!
Yes.
Cinema.
Cinnamon. Man, we're gonna have.
a huge. I used to know all the new films that came out. I've been off my game lately.
Yeah, because
I've
everything's
more
been
into
terrible.
I've been more into music these days, but I do want to get back into my my film phase.
Make movies. Make movies better than other people make movies.
Yes.
Yes.
Be better
Implement-
directors have female roles that are good. They don't always have to be Jennifer Lawrence, Jennifer Aniston, and someone else.
Sure.
Jennifer Lopez. She's not the only Hispanic
Aniston
actress
already?
in the world, by the way.
Did you say Aniston?
Yes, she's a great actress, but she
Yeah.
doesn't have to be in everything.
I don't think she's not in a lot actually. I
She's
think
in like
Jennifer
her movie
Aniston.
list,
I think
the amount of
I think
movies
me
she's been in
Jennifer
is-
Lawrence.
Jennifer. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Jennifer.
Jennifer Aniston.
It does
Huge
lotion
crush on her,
commercials.
man.
Jennifer
Huge
Lawrence is
crush
beautiful.
on Jennifer Aniston.
Yes, she is.
She
Well,
what?
guys.
She's very beautiful.
You're about to
She has a
Well,
cologne.
guys.
She has a never mind.
Gabby.
Well, guys.
Oh yeah.
This has been another riveting episode of Butter Boys
With the Butter Gals.
with Butter Gals and a Butter Pal. So
Corey didn't say anything.
we appreciate you guys listening to us. We are we're hearing back your feedback now. People like the show. That's surprising.
That's great. Thanks for the love, guys. The things you've been DMing me, I love it. I love that you guys.
We're trying to be better at it.
One episode.
I'm trying to be better at
One
it.
episode. That's pretty
People
cool.
are making me better at it. And us
Yeah.
as
so
a whole. Butter
boys.
Boys.
Yeah. So yeah. Thanks for listening to the show.
Thanks for watching the Butter Boys.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
if you are
Hit that
watching-
bell so that you know when we post.
Please.
And share.
I want to
Tell,
do this for a living.
tell the world. Tell the world about the Butter Boys. Get everyone nice and informed. And we're out.
Don't tell the wrong people.
Peace.
Please.